Hi, everyone. It is me, Xena, Fighter Queenling, or Xena Pappas here. And I'm doing a YouTube live stream. Something I haven't done in some time. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've done one. I can't think back when I did. You know? So, the one thing that I just want to get off to talk about here, I'll talk about many things, is that you can't really do anything with I mean, you can do a lot of stuff with a live stream, don't get me wrong. But if you're one of those folks that just wants to skim your films and wants to shift in that, well, you can't do it unless you have some kind of tool to help you skim your film. You have to yield until your YouTube live stream is fully filleted before you can do any of that. So I'm doing a YouTube live stream, and I know that some folks out there like to go around and set a time when they're going to be on. But the downside is you have to yield for someone to come on, look at their following and say, "Oh, I hit that time to come on or not." So you're still yielding for someone to come on and watch your films, even if you do set a time or not. So my show is back on Sci-Fi, at least on Fridays only, from like 6 in the morning to like 11. All the six followings and all the sagas in them. And then after that, it's like after that, all right, we did your Xena shit. Now goodbye. It's like I hope you're happy. Yes, WWE. Fuck, hell, heck yeah. Yeah, we talking about WWE, and that's yeah. So yeah, hell yeah. So first off, let's talk about my wrestling business that I have owned with my husband Cameron since 27 between YL, which is a TWF, which has been around for soon to be 30 years. And it might not be as well liked or as well known or as onlooked as all the other toy wrestling businesses on YouTube. But the one thing they can't say is they never made films on VHS. They never made films and little song disses. We had to listen to it and then mind see what you were hearing. They never had to go from that to a Tyco web shooter, black and white, to a Sony one, to VLC, then offshooting to doing a disc, then after free hit and misses, getting it on YouTube. Yep. Well, the truth is that back in the day when the TWF first started, all we did was we would just film it. And this was when you just filmed what you heard and you just played it back and then you had to hear everything. And then later on, when we got the first Tyco web shooter, or Tyco film shooter, which was in black and white, and then that got broke one day. And then we're back to doing that again until we got the Sony one. And the Sony one lasted for many years on VHS. Shifted over to the VLC one, which instead of and then we from there we then shifted over to putting it on a disc year later, and then after free hit and misses, it got on YouTube. Um, so all the films you see on the TWF YouTube Fairway is all the stuff that at least we could do since 2012 YL. It does not include all the other stuff that we did on VHS back in the day, or all the other things we did on speaking discs back in the day. Cassettes for you folks that don't understand what I said. Um, Everyone tends to look at the TWF as WWE, and everyone else is like, oh, So, anyway, let me read some of the stuff here. It goes, I wish we didn't get broke VLC since it'd be awesome to put it on YouTube. First off, it was JVC. We had two film shooters back in the day between 97 YL up to at least 2007 YL. One was a Sony, one was a DLC, and that was before we ended up getting it on YouTube. So now we're going to talk about the other things everyone's so into. So everyone likes to skim their films. Everyone likes to think it's this great thing, but it's not. It takes a lot of time, a lot of hit and misses. I'm going to tell you, I don't skim my films. A, I don't have the time. B, all the tools seem to either have weaknesses everywhere. So let's talk about the first one. The first one was Microsoft Windows Movie Maker, or Smallsoft Windows Filmmaker, which everyone knew and had some offshoot of. Either Windows 10 and Windows 11 have it, but it's been renamed as the Film Shifter or the Film Skimmer. My working with it, the only thing it seemed to be truly good at was making your films darker, making your films brighter, putting a beginning, middle, and end sheet to your film. But if you were asking to cut something out, well, that's when it gave you a hang up. Either it wouldn't cut anything out, or if it did, you couldn't bring it back together. So you fucked up your film. Then we go to the ArcSoft tools that we had of our HP web shooter back in the day. One was called ArcSoft Web Shooter Friend. The other one was called ArcSoft Film Furlayer. And both of them, only thing they could do is make films darker, make them brighter, begin, middle, and end sheets. You couldn't cut nothing out of them. At least they were faster in furlaying the film than the Microsoft or Smallsoft one was. And then there's old Cyberlink or Interweb Link or Interweb hookup, Strength Filmmaker or Mic Filmmaker. When I had my Acer Reckoner with Smallsoft Windows 8.1 back at one time, I got the broken one. All I could do was film. Then we get down to VLC, and my VLC's broke. It can't do shit except play films. That's the only thing it's good at. And don't get me started about the Sony Vegas film one, or the Mackie Cam one, or the Last Cut one, or all the other filming, shifting, skimming tools out there. One they're free, ones you got to buy. Ones that you can get from either the Microsoft or the Google or the Apple or the Genicosa web shop or whatever they want to call it. Yeah, they're all shit. The thing is that would say if you don't have anywhere to go, you don't have to go to work, you don't have to go to learn, you don't have anything you have to do, and you want to spend all day fucking around with your skimming tool, and you then go, by all means do it. If you learn how your film skimming tool worked. But I don't. And there's going to be folks out there saying, oh, well, you'll get more folks watching your films. Bullshit. No one knows that. You could do all that. You could put all the work in with any one of those film skimming tools I just told you about, and ones I don't know of out there. And someone chooses to watch your film or not, that's their own business, And I really can't do anything about, this. All right, I can't. Oh, see. I just was going to see. I guess that's just how loud it's picking my stuff up. So, anyway, sorry for clearing my throat there. So I just wanted to see if my Jellycam web shooter was picking the stuff up, and it was. That's why I did that hush and unhushed it. If you want to see the green shit go to the beginning to the middle and end, you got to yell or clearing your throat or whatever. I don't mean to do that. Yeah, they're all shitty. Each one of them. It said, Mother Xena, your baby's name is my beloved TW. Dylan. My son, Dylan. He is the TWF 24/7 fighter or greatest fighter. You talking about Dylan? Then that's who you be talking about then. Oh, sorry for that burp. So, and here's another thing I want to talk about. So you're going to have all these folks out here telling me, oh, how me and Cameron should run the TWF. Oh no, you should run it like Billy Corgan or Count Borner or Robert Black or Snaggy Tulo, Violent J, or Shao Kahn or Anthony Kong or Leonardo Asper. Oh no, don't run it like Vince McMahon. Don't run it like Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Oh fuck, don't run it like them. Oh no. Yeah. So anyway, the one little thing Xena said always seems yes. Thank you. You're welcome. So anyway, so I know you're going to probably hear this loudness in my film, and that's my reckoner. See, when you have a desktop reckoner, the intake and the outtake, you'll hear the fan starting. One thing when you got a laptop, you don't hear the fan, so it doesn't get picked up in any of your films. Because to be earnest with you, my Jelly web shooter doesn't make any loudness. What you're hearing is the reckoner. It said Vince McMahon is not very good. His wrestling is not as good. Everyone said they make TF again, but this year. Well, that's your thought, and that's your belief, and that's your take on him and his work. You know, everyone else believes everyone else is more good than him, but if that's their thought and belief, oh well. You know, but that's your thought and belief, then that's your thought, belief, and take. And I am looking for your thought, belief, and take. So, anyway, what else are we going to say? Yeah, the XFL got, it's going to start up again, only this time underneath The Rock's ownership, and we'll see if he can do see if he can get it to run, because both times things went badly. The first time the XFL was done, NBC pulled out on it. The 2-4 time they did it, COVID happened, so it had to be. So we'll see if the third time works out or not. So anyway, so everyone likes to wonder. Oh, I think Xena said that my show should come back, but it never will. You know. Well, let's just be earnest about that. The TWF offshoots from WWE, IW, AEW, MLW, GCW, OVW, AAA, LU, NJPW, AJPW, JCW, ZCW, BCW, ROH, which is now owned by AEW, and WC, if that's still going on or not. But yeah, so thank you if you think that our work is. Thank you if you think our work is good as WWE, but I don't know. So anyway, now to the next thing that I want to. So the next thing that I want to get on here is that. So you're gonna have folks who believe. They're gonna have folks who believe how they can make your YouTube fairway greater. how they can give you more followers and more watch time, but no one really seems to know. Everyone has their little thoughts and beliefs of what needs to be done, and they always behave as if you're doing everything wrong. It's almost as if your way of working is the wrong way of it. But you see, I like making films this way. And I'll never ever get in you can never get in a mishap with ownership if you make films this way. Because what are they going to do? The doll was made for anyone to gather and play with and whatever, so you can't get ownership over a doll. So yeah. So I don't have to always be biting my fingernails, worrying about, oh, I sure hope my fair work is seen as fair work by someone who owns the work. Oh, I sure hope I don't get in a bind with that shit. So that's why. So some folks might say it's boring. I say it's lifelike. But then at the end of the day, yeah, it says here, yes, there is more fun fighters than make me more other than wrestling. Fun fighters. What are fun fighters? I know there are skilled fighters and skilled wrestlers and skilled boxers. And then I know there are folks called beginner wrestlers and beginner fighters, ones that do it in the true offshoot of the sport. But I never heard fun fighters before or fun wrestlers before. But anyway, I don't know. So, are you talking about sports gleemen? Or are you talking about sports gleesmen or sport glees women? Or glee wrestlers or glee fighters? Like sport gleesmen or sport glee women? Because that would be what you're meaning then. Since one is in sports glee, one is a sports gleesman or a sports glee woman. So anyway, or this. So yeah, that's how it goes. So I wish my show would come back, but it never is, and I still can't get over it. I mean, it's been. You would think that by Xena, your show has been dead since 2001 YL. Only Kaser has only made reworks of your dolls, and no one makes fun of you anymore. Smosh never makes fun of you. College Humor never makes fun of you. The Key to Awesomeness never makes fun of you. Dare to be Dumb Show never makes fun of you. Yeah, there might be a lot of folks that gather your dolls and a lot of folks that got all your film games and all your books and stuff. But my show never got that remake or whatever you want to call it, a new make. And it still irks me to this day. Because you can have other shows, and then my show never did. And there was a lot of stuff out there. Like, oh, well, first one, the showrunners and head writers yielded on them. Then one of the show players, Katrina Hall, left because she didn't think she would do a good work playing Xena. And then they got into a whole hang up over how much the filming was going to worth them. And then the folks at Comcast, NBC World just said, all right, it's dead. And that was the end of it. And it's like, you would think that someone out there would get a deal to work with it in some way. Like you would think that Hardmark or someone would get the right. Like they couldn't call me. They couldn't say Fighter Queenling. They just call it Xena. But it's like, no, we can't. And you would think that I would be happy that my shows are running again on Sci-Fi for the third time. Yeah, from like Fridays from like 6 to about 11 in the morning. And that's it. Back in the day, my shows was on WB and UPN and Fox And then on USA and Sci-Fi and Oxygen and Lago and Heroes and Icon and E-Ray. And back in the day, I had a deal with Netflix, which ended. I had a deal with Hulu, which ended. I had a deal with, I believe I still got a deal with Tubi and Roku. I got a deal with Google for Google Play. A deal with Apple for Apple iTunes or iPlay, whatever they call it. A deal with Comcast and a deal with YouTube, and that was about it for your buy ones. All your free stuff was either the Roku or the Tubi, and that was it. I already had my dealings with him. I wrote a whole thing about how I went over there and had a dealing with him and put him straight. But of course, that was just one of my sagas and tales. In true life, I didn't go there and have any talks with him. But to tell you all Vladimir Putin's doing is besmirching his land. It's making him look bad. It's not making Rushland look like an overmight again. And it's not like his supposed friends, and not like the highest leader of Eastland, or the highest leader of North Korea, or the highest leader of Iran, or the highest leader of Afghanistan are backing them up. Oh, fuck that. They're not. They're like, you're on your own. Ali Maltoli, the highest leader of Iran's like, you're on your own here. Jun Kim, the highest leader of North Korea's like, you're on your own here. And the highest leader of Eastland's like, too bad, we can't be with you because we're going to get the same guilt and the same scathing, shaming, guilting, and sliding. And the highest leader of Afghanistan's like, well, I've only been running this land for like not even a full year yet. You're on your own. So all it's doing is taking Rushland, which wants to be seen as an overmight again, but it's besmirching itself by having a bullshit war with borderland known as Ukraine. And all it's going to do is just besmirch the land. No one's going to see Rushland as an overmight again. And this shit isn't going to make it an overmight again. So, there you go. And I've already made a film giving my scathing of Vladimir Putin, the foresetter of the Rushland gathering. Because Rushland has only been a folkreich since between 91 YL. And he's only been the foresetter only 2 times. The first time he was a foresetter was 2000 to about 2008 YL. And, well, folks, all they could say were good things about him in the first run. When he came back when he got chosen again in 2012 YL, that's when all the bullshit started. And a lot of folks like to guilt and say, oh, well, the Wanted Rights made a mistake when they started a war with Iraq in 2003 YL. Yeah, well, 2 wrongs don't make a right. If the Wanted Reichs or the United States or the Wanted Reichs was, if they had made a mistake for going to Iraq back in 2003 YL, 2 wrongs don't make a right. So it doesn't make it right for Rushland to start a war with bordered land. Or whatever. Either the Windemolt or the first Fane tell him to step down, or where they have another, or they choose someone else, and whoever becomes the 5th foresetter of Rushland, hopefully they can clean all the besmirching. Because don't get me wrong, I have nothing against Rushland or its folks, but their law moat, or at least their head of law moat, Vladimir Putin, forgive me, there's a first Fane, whatever his name is, but he's just making his land look bad. That's all he's doing. So, anyway, the only thing I can say there is that someone out there wants to say, oh, well, if someone wants to say you can't say this shit, well, hey, I've scathed a lot of folks. And in the Wanted Rights, we have the freedom to free speech, the freedom of worship. So, yeah, unless I am besmirching him, making up things about him, which I'm not, no one's going to come at me. He's not going to give two shits because he's too worried about his whole dumb war that he started. He's not going on there saying, oh, who's scathing me? Because let's just be earnest, the interweb over in Rushland is probably not the same kind of interweb in Unwanted Rights. No, he does not. But he does do a lot of housework and he does do a lot of swimming during the spring and summer. But that'd be as far as the workout goes. I work out truly well. You know? So I know you're probably thinking, should I have other folks come on my YouTube Fairway? And I know there's going to be someone out there saying, well, Xena, there's some folks saying, well, you should always make your live streams be the same thing you make your uploads. But then I really don't know if there's any truth to backing that up or not. So I know I'm probably not one of the most beloved out there. You know? Oh, I don't need to know who this is. Can you watch your work out and do something? No. First off, Xena says, I'm a doll. How could a doll be doing any kind of workout? You know? So, but hey, some folks want to ask, oh, Xena, how did you keep all this stuff on you? All this stuff that should be falling off. How do I keep all this stuff from coming off of me, which was put on me back in between 98 while by someone at Toy Biz or one of their Eastland offshoots that was making it? Over sticky ooze. I had to put these straps or whatever on. Two of them. I had to sticky ooze these two things back on. I had to sticky ooze this thing back on once. I had to sticky ooze this thing back on 2 times. So that's how that goes. It said, I like it live, Xena, when you leave and your mother asks you to go to a near Brook house. Yeah, a near book house. Yeah, I know, a book house. What? Yeah. You're probably thinking, oh, I know what you're thinking. Am I going to have Elois or Hercules or Ares or Callisto or Belasca on my show? Am I going to have Hope and Gabrielle on my show? I don't know. Am I going to have Ernest? Am I going to have Autolycus on his show or Ernest or Godzilla? I don't know. Or Waris or Buffy or Angel or Xander Harris or Willow Rosenberg or Angel or Spike. I don't know. Or Faith or Kennedy. I don't know. I don't know what my mood is. But hey, I've been doing it so long that for someone to pull one of them out now, it would be like, whatever. So, that's something I got to do. And then I'll be back. First off, I don't have any HD DVDs or whatever folks like to call them these days. No Blu-rays or HD DVDs. The only HD stuff that I ever watch is whatever on the Farseer or the films that I watch on YouTube, and that's it. And that's about it as far as that. There goes was a yawning already. Do I go to the films? Well, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It has to do if there's a film that I think I want to see. So the answer would be I don't go to the films as much as I once did. So, yeah. Oh, there we go again. There we go again. Passing wind again. No one can hear that. Hi. I know how. So, here's the thing. So, this is what I'm going to talk about, and I haven't talked about this yet. Have you ever seen the new Spinner Man film or the new Wildermouse Man film, or known as Spider Man or Batman to you folks that don't understand? No, but I think they're good films, but I have not seen them. So anyway, here it is. Now, this is going into the folklore of my show or just a thought and belief and take of stuff. Some folks out there have gotten it into their head that I'm unstraight. Now, some folks are going to say, oh, well, they're going to say, well, first off, I was straight. And then then they made the show, or the first following of the show, with the first sagas. And by the time the two-fold following started, everyone started getting their head that, oh, me and Gabrielle are unstraight. And they just start playing it. They started trolling everyone. From following 2 to following 6, it was being trolled. Now, I don't care what anyone thinks. I don't have anything against anyone who's unstraight. If someone chooses to be unstraight and learn that about themselves, and that's good for them. But I'm straight. Someone took the Xena sheets, reshifted them, and that's what happened. Now, some folks out there are not open-minded, or some folks are not, trusting and understanding and open-minded, and of that. And that will be a shift off for some of them, because there are some folks in this world who think that think it's still bad or evil or sinful or wicked or unlawful, which it's not, but they believe it is. So I still had to deal with that shit. Dot. I was straight. I don't know where all this came from, and they kept teasing it. They kept trolling it. Because some folks watching the show back in the day thought it was. So they thought, hey, we'll just troll the followers and make them think things. And at the end of the day, you got to pick and choose what you think for yourself. Now, with my new remake or new make, I would have been unstraight. It would have been right there. Boom. Instead of the followers coming up with their own mind and thought and belief, it would just been set. So mine see my new mate coming out, and someone out there saying, okay, it's not up to you to make up your mind what you believe, what you don't believe. So yeah. But I am trusting, I am open-minded, and I have onlook and understanding of anyone or whatever their love choosing is, either they're straight, unstraight, half unstraight, as long as they're not doing anything wrong to anyone, they're happy enough to live their lives the way they want to live their lives. And I'm just going to put it there. Because sometimes, no need what you talk about, what you don't talk about, someone out there will take it the wrong way. Someone out there will come at you and say, oh, well, and say, well, you're wrong about this. Whatever. I do watch horror films from time to time. Yes, I do. You know? Yes, I know. One of their other shows is on tonight. They're offshoot of the Strike of the Winners, the Strike of the Greatest Fighters. All they can do is offshoot from a show that they don't own the rights to, or they don't own the name to. So all I can do is offshoot from. Well, I guess good work for them then. You know? So, anyway, and I know that anytime that anyone scaves or shames or guilts or slights something someone likes, they come at you. So, anyway, here are some little things. It seems that some folks in AEW believe that can't believe that not everyone would like their work. Somehow in their mind, they don't believe that everyone couldn't. They don't think they're on. They think they're unscavable. That you can't scave them. That you can't do that. And they think that either it's tools, that someone is setting up tools and making it look like it's folks scaving them on YouTube or Twitter or Learbook or whatever they're on. That somehow they've gotten into their head believing that WWE has bought off all these websites and all these websites are saying that. Well, some folks do like AEW's work and some folks don't. So you can't say that you can't say that's like so you can't go around and say, oh well, these folks aren't living beings because they don't like your work. You know, some folks do like AEW's work and some folks don't. It is what it is. If you like AEW and you like their shows and all that, well, good for you. But AEW needs to learn how to handle being scathed because every wrestling business has been scathed. So AEW should learn how to deal with it. You know. Well, I'm glad to hear you like Seven Dust. You know. I don't know what my beloved songs are because I tend to listen to a lot of songs, and a lot of them tend to be wrestling songs. So it's hard to say. It's not like I got a beloved song band or beloved songster or songstress out there, or whatever you want to call them. I don't. You know, some folks out there can say that they like this songster or this songstress or this team or this band, you know, or they like this kind of songs or this kind of whatever. But with me, it's the way it is. But here's a little truth, Xena says. When I used to go to learn, and I would go to song class, I was the learner who either knew what kind of songs they were, but not the songsters or songstresses that did them. Or I would know the songsters and songstresses, but not the songs they did or the kind of song they did. And that's the truth. I mean, it would be like saying I can't tell the unlikeness between rock and pop. I can't tell the unlikeness between heavy metal and death metal. I really can't. I can't tell I can kind of tell the unlikeness between jazz, blues, and gospel a little bit, but not that much. And some stuff you really can't tell the unlikeness between it. You know. So yeah, there'll be folks out there that can tell the big unlikeness between and the big ones that they're like, oh well, they're like it's what they sing about. It's the kind of song tools they play with. I don't know. It's like I don't know. Don't ask me because I don't know. And I guess I'm not iffin enough to know the unlikenesses between one kind of song and another kind of song. Or the songster or songstress that does it, or the band that does it, or whatever it is. You know? It said, "How was your night, Xena?" My night was good, as it always been good. I've had a good day, and my night's been good too. So I guess I got nothing to bitch about because my night's been good. Was my night flawless? No, but it was good. So here's something I was going to say. So I'm no longer on Twitter anymore. Well, I used to be. But on Twitter, it seems to be that I just happened to fall into meeting the wrong folks. You know? I guess he did. Yeah, I guess he did. Those 2 times he was in my film, I guess he did. But, you know, and let's talk about Kenny Omega or Kenneth Omega or talk about Tyson Smith. The man who wants you to think he's from Dawnland, but the truth is he's from the settled land. So he comes into TWF in November of last year, made an oath that he was going to beat Roman Reigns, and every time he fought Roman Reigns, he lost. Yes, he did become the TWF heavyweight fighter. He beat Biggie Langston, but then lost to Brock Lesnar. And then after having his hang-ups with Asuka and Ashley Williams, he became a three-time TWF 24/7 fighter. And I know that I should dig out Luke Gallows and Cal Anderson and put them with Kenny Omega and Adam Cole. That I should have gotten Buddy Fish's doll when they were selling at Walmart, the W offshoot of it. Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, next day you should get Nick Buck and Matt Buck one day and just offshoot from that shit." Well, I don't know. And he didn't like how those things were going. And I said, "Well, it's not my mistake. He has to come up with a way to dig himself out of that hole he's got himself in, and he has to make some good out of it. You know, there's only so much that me, Cameron, Hunter Helmsley, Godzilla, Gil Kim, and I can do about that, or Astronema can do about that." Yeah. You know. So when I was on Twitter back in the day, folks would get on me for show playing. "Oh, you're not show playing the way that Lucille Lawless does it. You're not show playing the way I want you to show play like." And it was, "Oh, you're Al Lankovitching it. You're not taking it earnest." Well, I did show play with some other folks on Twitter, and they liked the way I did it. And then I happened to meet some creeps out there who didn't like the way I did it. You know? See? But you want to, yeah. Yeah, but that's what happened back in 28 between YL. And even if I did go back on Twitter and make a new Twitter and start it up again, then I had to go back and get new from my old followers that follow me there too, and had to start rehushing and relocking all the old folks. You know, I mean, I could do that if I wanted to. So anyway, you got these. So, and here's another thing I want to point out. Every time folks say, "Who would win between me and Buffy?" First off, you're asking the wrong asking. It's like, who would win between Angel and me? Because me and Angel probably have more that's the same than Buffy and me. See, Buffy has more the same and more shared of Hercules. Because Hercules and Buffy show came first. Angel first showed up on Buffy, then got his own spin-off around after the third following. I show up on Hercules in the first following and got my first spin-off after his first following. So it would be who would win between Buffy, who would win between Angel and Xena would be more asking. And me and Angel have been on YouTube many times talking about that whole thing. And I always see him as one of my good friends. You know? And yes, a lot of folks are going to say so. You know? I think they're both good. They're both good shows. Even though my show only got 6 followings, his only got 5. My show tend to got put on more folk works than his show did. As you could see, the Buffy show got treated a little bit more good because it was on WB and UPN and PAX, and then it was on FX, then it was on Chiller and Lago, and then it was on Pop, where Angel was only on WB and PAX and TNT, and that's it, and now isn't on there anymore. And you see, Hercules got a really bad deal because he was only on WB and WGN and USA and Sci-Fi, and that was it. And then years later on Heroes and Icons, and that was it. So out of it, and then my show was on WB and UPN, WB and WGN and Fox and USA and Sci-Fi and Oxygen and Lago and Heroes and Icons and E-Ray. You know, but at the end of the day, me and Buffy are good friends. Buffy and Hercules probably have a lot more that's shared between them than they are with us. But if you would ask me and Angel, the truth is that if it wasn't for Hercules showing me how to show that I was a good fighter, just the same way that Buffy was the one that somehow, some way made where Angel wanted to do good. So me and Angel got that shared because we always say it was Hercules and Buffy that got us to go straight. So that's how that goes. Oh, well, my show was first on Netflix until the deal ended, Hulu until the deal ended. I think it's still on Google for the Google Play, still on Apple and Apple Play. It's still on Comcast and YouTube. I think Tubi still has a deal. I think Roku still has a deal, and that's it. Now, as far as the Buffy stuff goes, Buffy still got her deal with Hulu, still has a deal with Google and Apple, a deal with Comcast, a deal with YouTube, I believe, and still has the Pop deal. At least that's ended. I don't know. Angel, there is no deal beyond the Hulu deal. Hercules, no deal beyond what was the Roku and Tubi deal, but I think the Tubi deal's done. So that's how that goes. Yes, Buffy did have 2 games. She had many games, but most of the games folks know about are the 2 Xbox games. And Hercules had 1 game on Nintendo 64. I had 1 game on Nintendo 64, 1 on the PlayStation. I had a weird offshooted game that came out 1 year after the show ended and never saw the light of day. But sadly, Angel never got no game. Buffy got many games. Hercules got 1. I got at least 2. Angel got none. So, yeah. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. You know? Yeah, I had mini games too. I had the PlayStation games, the Nintendo 64 games. I had the Game Boy games, the GameCube games. Yeah, but most folks, the games they know about it's a 64 game and a PlayStation game is what most folks know about. Hi, it's like when it comes to the Buffy games, the folks that they most know of are the 2 Xbox games. You know, well, it's hi. It's good to see you again. You know, you're saying hi to him. Ah, so here's one thing I'm going to ask, and I don't think no one knows the answer to this. So there was this song. I don't know. It used to be some film someone made a long time ago on YouTube. It's gone now, but it was about Gabrielle and Hope. Now the name of the song was called "In This World" or "This World" or something, and it was done by the Dutch. I don't know if that was their name or not, but every time I keep looking up that song, either calling it "In This World," it never comes up. Not the film's gone. The film's been taken off of YouTube over ownership grounds years ago, or like 2 years ago. But I can never seek the song, and I look everywhere. I look everywhere. Can't seek the song anywhere on YouTube. Spotify doesn't really have in that song. It's almost if I got the song right, but I got the folks to sing it wrong. So I don't know. So there comes the hang up. You think that's the name of the song, but I could be wrong. You think that's the name of the band or the team, but it could be wrong. So there you go. I don't know. No one's gonna know the answer to that one at all. So why am I even asking it? It goes, would you like to make another SmackDown game? Either be on Xbox or would it be on PlayStation? Would it be on this? I think it should be on all three of them. I think WWE and 2K should get a deal with Nintendo and Smallsoft and Sony for the Xbox, for the PlayStation, for the Switch. If they can get a deal with all three of them, you know. I have heard of that. Need be it happen to the song. I don't know the name of the song. I think it was called "In This World" or "This World." I don't know, to be honest with you. So I don't know. All I know is it was someone had made a film about Gabrielle and Hope back in the day, and that was a song they worked. And the last time I ever listened to that film would have been back in 29 between or 2020, whatever. Then the films were taken down. The YouTube Fairway went down. And here's the thing, you can go back to your yesteryear and look up all your films you watched and all your films you let words on. But once the film's gone, your words, you're watching, gone too. So there's no way to know if that was the name of the song or not. I don't even know if that was the name of the song or not. So, yeah. It might not have been a Dutch. It may have been some other band that did the song. So your guess is good as mine. But anyway, I don't think anyone's going to have the answer to that. No one's going to have the answer to that. It is what it is. So everyone also asks me, what's my thought on other things? Like, I'm happen to see here's a thought and belief. It's about me. Me and the Undertaker. We got all these things that are the same between us. You know? And some folks out there says, I think we should have more Ernest P. Worrell films and film games and stuff. Yeah, I do think Ernest P. Worrell should get some film games. You know? I truly believe that Ernest P. Worrell needs to have some film games. And you know what? When we're talking about dolls, why did Joxer never get a doll back in the day? Why did there should like they should if they should start making dolls now, Joxer should be one. There should be one for Livia and Eve. I think Alti should have one. Hell, how about Aphrodite and Virgil? I even think that if you want to offshoot it, even Mephistopheles and Lucifer should have one too. Alti should have one. You know, you can think of it, Anne Marie should have one too. But no, they just never did. And here's what the Joxer one would look like. It'd come with his hat, come with his sword. And then the closest thing you can get is the Ted Rini doll from Deep Quest. show that he was in. And that's like the closest thing. So if you ever got that doll, then that's the closest thing you could offshoot it to. Yeah, I do think so. Unless you go and get the Disney's Hercules Zeus toy. Yeah, I think Zeus, Hades should have one too. Who else should own that? Oh, there's a lot of folks that should have one too. Anthony should have one too. How about Eli, also known as Jesus? He should have one too. But sadly, it just didn't work out. Oh, and Athena should also have one as well. Let's not lie about that. Because Athena's like the closest thing to Steph McMahon in the Xena world you're gonna get. So like me and the Undertaker have all these things that's the same between us. Yeah, we both are in black. Both had a very sinful background. Both had friends like Gabrielle and Paul Bear. Both happen to have both have folks like Aries and Teddy DiBiase wanting us to be bad again. Having Dillings of Alti and Bray Wyatt. Both wronged folks like both, Calistro and Mankind. And both happen to have befriended and shown the way of good, either being Hercules and Hulk Hogan. And don't forget about Autolycus and Steve Austin, but whatever. Well, thank you, Mandy. Thank you, Melinda, for saying that. Your first name is my middle name. And your name, Melinda, which was my middle name, Melinda Pappas, which was my middle name, back when one of my many lives, we'll call it, because in one life I was Melinda Pappas, and another life I was Anna Day. So yeah, my middle name is Xena Melinda Pappas. And your first name is Melinda off of Melinda Pappas, who is one of my many lives on the Xena show. So thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Well, now, yeah, you got the light off now. Let's see how that's going to look. It said, can you go watch the films? There are a lot of boosterings. Can you go watch this film? It has a lot of showings and boosterings. Well, what film would it be? And why would I want to watch it when I'm having a bunch of boosterings and showings being shot at me, like someone shooting fire shot from a thunder gun? Well, that's how it's like when you go on some of these websteads, and it's like someone shooting fire shot out at you from a thunder gun. But instead of fire shot, it's boosterings and showings. And in some of these websteads, it's all over the stead. Like, bam! It could be one for, I don't know, the new Spider-Man film or new Batman film. The next one is shoot at you complete for Pornhub. So, yeah. And unless you have all your stuff up to date, Windows up to date, Edge up to date, Fighter up to date, or for you Apple folks, Safari up to date, Mac OS up to date, you're going to get shit. And for you Chrome folks, having Chrome OS up to date, or your Linux, having your Linux stuff up to date. So, and making your sandbox and your firewall shit's working right. But that's how it's like. But because some websteads don't really care about who they're buying, who's buying boostering and showing time on their website, and they don't care about hiding it. So that's how it goes. Like, Oh, well, here's a little funny sogging tale behind this. When I first, Ares was the first big doll I ever got. Let's be honest about that. All right? And I would like to talk about when I first came to the TWF in 9 between 99 YL, July of 9 between 9 YL, and this shit happened to me. And I had to deal with it. And I got over it. Ares never did. He came to the TWF in December of 2001 YL. And when he got there, Hulk Hogan wasn't happy with Ares taking over for him and staked him into a clutter can. And they never got over that shit. All right? So, and he was like one of the first big ones they ever got. You know? I don't know. To be honest with you, that's what happened. Yeah, not making it up. That's what happened. He got into it. He said, I'm taking over as the matchmaker now, at least what become the evil one, or whatever you want to call it back in the day. Hulk Hogan didn't like it, and this was the LJN Hulk Hogan with the white t-shirt and the black short, red shorts. Got mad and nailed him, and into the clutter can he went. This wasn't the Toy Biz WCW Hulk Hogan, and this was before all the other ones. So this wasn't the, he's probably like that Hulk Hogan, the Jack Pacific's IW one's probably like buried in something somewhere. Somewhere dim, I don't know. Yeah, we did the NWO many times. First, now between 96 YL, offshoot again in 2002 YL, again in 20 between YL, and then last year we offshooted it. Only the last time we did the NWO, we made it behave like it was a Nexus, like it was the Ace and Aids, like it was the Uprising. Both of that was all Astronoma's fault, because she thought that was Astronoma. Corone thought that was all I had to do to make the TWF watchable. And I don't know which one we were doing it from, but whatever. I don't know. And you're probably thinking, oh, Xena, why haven't you wrestled anymore? The last time you wrestled was back in 2020 YL with John Cena. Yeah, well, I showed up many times, starting at the end of 2021 YL and kind of the 2022 YL. I show up from time to times. Vince liked to show up on Raw, so I like to show up on NXT 2.0 the next day. And then I just been gone. You think, yeah. So I show up from time to time. Yep. Steve Austin coming back to wrestle one more time. Good thing. I liked it. Some folks out there sobbed and said, oh no, Steve Austin's been besmirched. His last match wasn't with The Rock at WrestleMania 9 between. His last match now is WrestleMania 2038. His thoughts have been besmirched. You have to say you're sorry for besmirching my thoughts. But in the day, I was happy to see him have that one more match. And it wasn't just, it wasn't walk in, hi, how you doing, here's a stunner, bye. No, it was a full match. So I was happy that he got his last match in with Kevin Owens. So if that besmirched some folks and some thoughts of him in some folks' minds, oh well. Well, looks like I have to go now. I just want to say thank you for everybody coming on here, watching my YouTube live stream. I'm Xena Pappas or Xena Fighter Queenling, and I'll see you later. Bye.